What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, here to dish out some tips on how to catch Giratina origin form, including one little trick that Giratina uses that might be distorting your throws. Now, Giratina is from the distortion world, so it makes sense that things might not be all as they seem when you try to catch it after a raid battle. Though, obviously, this is not unique to Giratina, and we've seen a similar thing with Moltres in the past as well. Now, Moltres works a little bit differently, but I'll break that down as well. Basically, following Moltres' attack animation, the Pokemon is a little bit farther back into the screen once you're able to throw at it, and then kind of slowly drifts back into position. This will mean when you go to throw at a Moltres, especially when it's up in the air, it may be too far away and you might be unable to hit it with your Premier Balls. Giratina does a similar thing, but it's actually the opposite. Following its attack animation, it's actually a little bit closer to the camera, making it easier to hit. And this is actually a pretty good thing, except it's going to mess you up when you're trying to throw low radius, great and excellent throws. So I just wanted to play a video clip here of me during the Giratina catch sequence, and what you'll see is I'll hold on to the Premier Ball as Giratina is finished making its attacks, and this is actually always a good thing to do against a raid boss, to get an idea of exactly how long its attack animation is. Sit there for a while and watch it. You can also watch it on YouTube and Twitter. A lot of players will post the bonus challenge sequences, but it's also a good idea just to hold down the Premier Ball on your own phone and get an idea of exactly when the Pokemon is done attacking. So that's what I do here, and I'm just kind of watching Giratina, but if you take a look at the larger radius around the Giratina, the white circle, you'll notice that immediately following the attack animation, it's pretty large and it hits the borders of my iPhone SE. But just like a quarter of a second after that, and it's constant, the circle shrinks back into a normal position. This is because the Giratina does his little swirl maneuver, and then he's up in front and then slowly goes back to his, traditional stance. So this is something that you really want to watch for because of a few reasons. The first reason this is tricky is Giratina is just way too dang close. And while it is possible to throw excellent throws on things like a Rattata or a Weedle, and Giratina is easier because it has a much larger circle, this is still a throw that a lot of players aren't comfortable with because they don't practice throwing good throws on those closer up Pokemon. As mentioned in my video and accompanying Game Press article, How to Make Consistently Better Throws, I do recommend practicing on things like Rattata, Pidgey, Weedle, because all practice helps. And Giratina is a great example of putting that practice to use. But the other reason that Giratina is tough to throw at is because it isn't consistent. Basically, there are 4 different types of Giratina that you have to be prepared to throw at. Low and close, low and normal, high and close, high and normal. And because you are constantly switching between all of these different types of throws, you don't really get to build up the muscle memory and aren't getting great practice throwing at it. So that's the problem. But what's the solution? A lot of players have taken to only throwing at Giratina while it's up in the air, and this solves half the problem, and if you're consistently throwing good otherwise, it should solve the entire thing for you. This can be done in the lower position too, but like I said, because more players have experience throwing at raid bosses that are farther away, the most comfortable way to throw at Giratina is when it is in that high but close scenario. But there's still ways that we can improve on this consistency, And practice, while it might not make you perfect, will make you better. The other layer to consistency that you can practice on, and this actually helps with the tip that I brought up at the beginning of the video, is watching the attack animation. If you can train your muscle memory to always wind up your throw and always release it at the exact same spots in the attack animation, then Giratina will always be at the same spot when your premier ball connects to it. So if you release when Giratina's here, here, or here, it's all the same as long as you are familiar and consistent with how that throw feels for you. Obviously, to prevent the Pokemon from double attacking or attacking and then switching positions, going from high to low, it is important to try to hit it as close to the end of that attack window as possible, and that means when Giratina is close to the screen. Usually that's going to be the best for players when Giratina is high up, but more than that, recognizing that Giratina does kind of have these 4 different positions that it can sit at is half the battle. You may not always need to hit it when it's high close or always need to hit it when it's low far, but just recognizing that that's what's going on and not just getting upset that sometimes your same exact throw isn't excellent and sometimes that identical throw winds up just hitting the Pokemon can help curb a lot of that frustration that you might feel while trying to catch this pretty tricky Pokemon. That's all I got for you today, guys. Remember, the tips discussed here are specifically for Giratina Origin form, but they can be used on a variety of different Pokemon, raid bosses, and in the wild. For further reading, I recommend checking out my Consistently Great Throws article on GamePress.gg. And if you enjoyed this content, comment down below, leave a like, and subscribe to see more in the future. That's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.